In international business, there are two types of operating companies. There are B2B and there is B2C as well. The difference between these two is who the final consumer is. They mean business to consumer and business to business. So a company can sell its products to another business, that is B2B, a juridical entity, or it can sell its products to an individual like you and me, and we call him a consumer, that is B2C. The first B comes from the business, the seller. So in both cases, companies must engage consumers and build profitable relationships with them. However, depending on the type of consumer, the type of buyer, we talk about separated markets. In this video, we discussed about the four most important markets there are: the consumer markets, the business markets, the governmental markets, and institutional markets. First things first, you can always divide markets infinitely depending on your evaluative criteria, but when we talk on a global scale about the most important ones, those are these four: the consumer, the business, governmental, and institutional market. Each market has different buyers. All buyers have a different type of behavior, and all buyers have a different buying process when they want to buy something. So for example, when you talk about consumer markets, the buyers are individual persons like you and me. When we talk about business markets, we talk about other businesses, so companies, juridical entities that buy from other companies. If you would like to watch a video about the buying behavior and the buying decision process of a business or of a consumer, you can watch the video I created about this in the info cards right here, or find the videos in the descriptions down below. Consumer markets consist of all the individuals and households that buy or acquire goods and services for personal consumption. The simplest model of consumer buyer behavior is the stimulus response model. Consumers vary greatly in terms of cultural, social, personal, and psychological makeup. Understanding how these differences affect consumer buying behavior is one of the biggest challenges marketeers face. As a simple sum up, when we talk about consumer markets, we talk about individuals like you and me, about persons who buy products and services for their own consumption. So they buy these products for themselves, not in order to make another product from them to sell it further for a profit. Let's take an example of building a dog shelter. Maybe you want to build such a dog house in your garden for your own dog. You will go to the market or basically to a company, buy the wooden planks you need, assemble the wooden planks to make a house for your dog, and keep it in your garden. That is called personal consumption because only you use it. If it was to build that same house and then sell it further, maybe to a neighbor for a profit, then it would be B2B, it would be business to business in order to make profit, and then we talk about business markets. The business markets comprises all organizations that buy goods and services for use in the production of other products and services, or for the purpose of reselling or renting them to others at a profit. Business buyers usually face more complex buying decisions. The buying process tends to be more formalized, and finally, buyers are often more dependent on each other. Business demand is derived demand, as it derives from the demand for consumer goods. If consumers' demand increased, so does the demand of businesses. Compared to consumer markets, business markets usually have fewer but larger buyers and tend to be more inelastic and fluctuating than consumer demand. The business buying decision usually involves more and more professional buyers. The main difference are in the market structure and demand, the nature of the buying unit, and the types of decisions and the decision process involves. In other words, and as a summary, when we talk about companies, the juridical entities, corporations, we talk about business markets because we talk about other businesses buying from other businesses. When we talk about B2C, we talk about consumers, about individuals, like individual persons like you and me. The consumer and business markets are mostly common and they encounter individuals. However, for companies' points of view, there are more profitable markets when they talk about making profits, and those are the governmental and the institutional markets. Let's talk about them. Institutional markets consist of schools, hospitals, nursing homes, prisons, and other institutions that provide goods and services to people in their care. Institutions differ from one another in their sponsors and their objectives. Each institutions have their different buying needs and resources. Many individual markets are characterized by low budget and captive patrons. To give you a clear example, let's think about a hospital. That is one type of an institution, and each hospital has to provide food for their patients that stay there for whatever, more than one night, right? So that institution has what it's called a buying agent. So that buying agent knows the profit that makes when they buy something comparing businesses. So he will choose, depending on the budget it has, he will choose the supplier for food for their business, because remember, institutions usually have low budgets and they try to make the best price possible for, well, the best quality, hopefully. And finally, government markets are federal, state and local government units. In most countries, government organizations are major buyers of goods and services. To succeed in government markets, seller must locate key decision makers, identify the factors that affect buyer behavior, and understand the buying decision process. About both buying processes of customers and of businesses, you can find videos that I've created in the info card right here or in the links down in the description. Some final aspects. Government organizations typically require suppliers to submit bids, and normally they award the contract to the lowest bidder. Government organizations tend to favor domestic suppliers over foreign suppliers. Most of the governments provide would-be suppliers with detailed guides describing how to sell to governments. One thing to remember and to mention is that when we talk about governmental purchases, there are a lot of eyes and there is a lot of pressures on the purchases, because everybody knows, everybody wants to know where the taxpayers' money goes. It's obvious that marketeers want to sell more and more in order to increase the profit of a company. So in order to do that, what they want to understand is how we react to what they call marketing stimuli. We see right here that the marketing stimuli are the 4 P's. We have the product, the price, the promotion, and the place. I've created a separated video about it. You can watch it here. And there are also the external stimuli, which are the factors and the forces of the macro environment. You can watch a video about it right here. So it doesn't matter if we talk about consumers or if we talk about companies, marketeers want to understand our triggers and how we react when those triggers are pushed, so they can be able to create the best marketing strategies that would make us buy their product. In this video, we only talk about B2B, so businesses selling to other businesses, and we will go through the business's behavior when they want to buy something. This figure shows a model for the business buyer behavior. The main outcome of this model is the fact that good marketing strategies manage to turn stimuli into purchase responses. The buying activity consists of 2 major parts: the buying center and the buying decision process. The buying center is composed of all the people involved in the buying decision, while the buying decision process is a model listing 8 stages of the business buying process, where buyers who face a new task buying situation go through all stages of buying process. The model shows that the buying center and the buying decision process are influenced by internal organization, interpersonal and individual factors, as well as external environmental factors. The figure suggests 4 questions about business buyer behavior. What buying decision do businesses buyers make? Who participates in the business buying process? What are the major influences of buyers? How do businesses buyers make their buying decisions? These 4 questions have the purpose to guide marketeers in their study and in their research process when they have the scope to understand how their clients, so other businesses, react when their triggers are being pushed. Another fact that you should know is that there are 3 major types of buying situations. Straight rebuy is the first major type of buying situation. A business buying situation in which the buyer routinely reorders something without any modifications. To keep the business, in suppliers try to maintain product and service quality. Out suppliers try to find new ways to add value or exploit dissatisfaction so that the buyer will consider them. Modified rebuy is the second major type of buying situation. A business buying situation in which the buyer wants to modify product specifications, prices, terms, or suppliers. In suppliers may become nervous and feel pressured to put their best foot forward to protect an account, while out suppliers may see that modified rebuy situation as an opportunity to make a better offer and gain new business. The third type of buying situation is facing a new task situation. A business buying situation in which the buyer purchases a product or service for the first time. The greater the cost or risk, the larger the number of decision participants and the greater the company's efforts to collect information. The marketeers try to reach as many key buying influences as possible, but also have to provide help and information. You may be wondering if the business-to-business operating companies are so difficult because they involve a lot of people when making the buying decision. They involve whole complex processes to make that decision happen. You may be wondering, why are they so attractive? Well, business-to-business operating decisions are so interesting because they buy in bulk. So when most companies prefer to buy entire packages, they want to buy full solutions, as they call them, to their product, than buying separate products that they should make up in order to make one complete product or service that they need to solve their problem. This is what in marketing is called a complete system to meet the customer needs and solve its problems, also known as system selling or as solution selling. Therefore, you may understand that when companies want to buy, because they buy in big quantities, they want to buy all the variety they need from the same seller and not have separated orders to multiple sellers that they should make up in order to build the final product that solves their problem. It's obvious that marketeers want to sell more and more in order to increase the profit of a company. So in order to do that, what they want to understand is how we react to what they call marketing stimuli. So it doesn't matter if we talk about consumers or if we talk about companies, marketeers want to understand our triggers and how we react when those triggers are pushed, so they can be able to create the best marketing strategies that would make us buy their product. In this video, we talk about the most important influences on the business buying behavior. If you would like to watch a video about the most important influences on the consumer buying behavior, I've created a separated video for that you can watch in the info card right here, or find the video in the links down in the description below. Thinking about the buying decision process of companies, most of you would think that the economic factor would play the most important role. Marketeers as well would say that the buyer would go for either the company that offers the lowest price or either the best product. However, in reality, there are more factors that influence the buying decision of a company, not just the economic ones. Although they are not literally people or humans, the juridical entities, the companies, also react to emotions, they also react to interpersonal factors, to environmental factors, to organizational factors, and this is what we talk about. This model shows various groups that influence the business buyers. These are environmental, organizational, interpersonal, and individual. Most of the buyers are mainly influenced by the factors in the current and expected economic environment, but we need to remember that is only one of the factors. Right now we will look individually at each category of factors, providing definition in context, because if it was to look at each factor individually within each category, we would look at a subjective type of a company in a subjective scenario. There are several environmental factors that marketeers need to look at. There are the economy, the suppliers, the technology, the politics and regulation, competition, culture, and customers. If you'd like to learn more about each individual factor, about the environmental one, the political, the cultural one, well, learn that they are actually the macro environmental forces that influence the marketing of a company and the company itself. And I've created a separated video on this topic, and you can watch that video in the info card right here, or also in the description down below. Organizational factors are important for any company. Each organization has its own objectives, strategies, structures, systems, and procedures, and it is also important that the business marketeers understand these factors. The questions that may arise on this regard are: how many people are involved in the buying decision? Who are they? What are their evaluative criteria? What are the company's policies and limits on its buyers? One thing to mention: if you're a student or you're looking to enrich your vocabulary with all these marketing terms, you don't need to take notes of it. In the links down in the description below, I've created a separated file that acts like a dictionary for all these marketing terms, and you can download it, so have it, don't need to write down any notes of the definitions. Most of the times, the buying center includes participants who influence each other, therefore the existence of interpersonal factors. It is usually hard to assess group dynamics and participants that may influence the buying decision, because of the control they have over the rewards or punishments. Factors like the special expertise they have or the special relationships with other participants they may have should be taken into account, as they often count heavily and interpersonal factors are often very subtle. The individual factors are affected by personal characteristics such as age, income, education, professional identification, personality, and attitudes towards risk. Each participant in the business buying decision process brings personal motives, perceptions, and preferences. And another important factor is the buying style. While some people may be technical and may have in-depth analysis of competitive proposals before choosing a supplier, others are intuitive and listen to their very own instinct. As a marketeer, your primary job is to solve the need or the problem of your customers. It doesn't matter if the customers are consumers like physical persons or if the buyers are companies or other businesses. As a marketeer, your job is to identify that need and with your product or service to solve it at a profit, and then you want to know the people who can influence the buying decision of your buyers so you can make the best strategy to influence that to make more sales. Companies spend trillions of dollars buying goods and services, and they also have a decision-making unit that in an organization is called the buying center. Let's see the definitions of all the members that are in the buying center. The buying center is represented by all the individuals and units that play a role in the purchase decision marketing process. This group includes the actual users of the product and service, those who make the buying decisions, those who influence the buying decision, those who do the actual buying, and those who control the buying information. The buying center includes all members of the organization who play any of the 5 roles in the purchase decision process. Users are members of the organizations who will use the product or service. In many cases, users initiate the buying proposals and help define product specifications. Influencers are people in an organization buying center who affect the buying decision. They often help define specifications and also provide information for evaluating alternatives. Technical personnel are particularly important influencers. The buyers have formal authority to select the suppliers and arrange terms of purchase. Buyers may help shape product specifications, but their major role is in selecting vendors and negotiating. In more complex purchases, buyers might include high-level officers participating in the negotiations. Deciders have formal or informal power to select or approve the final suppliers. In routine buying, the buyers are often the deciders or at least the approvers. Gatekeepers are people in an organization's buying center who control the flow of information to others. For example, purchasing agents often have authority to prevent salespersons from seeing users or deciders. Other gatekeepers include technical personnel and eventually personal secretaries. The buying center is not a formally identified unit within an organization. It is actually roles in the buying process, and each member of the company, depending on its position, can take part of the buying decision depending on the needed situation. So basically, within the organization, the size and the makeup of the organization of the buying center can differ from situation to situation. It's obvious that marketeers want to sell more and more in order to increase the profit of a company. So in order to do that, what they want to understand is how we react to what they call marketing stimuli. So it doesn't matter if we talk about consumers or if we talk about companies, marketeers want to understand our triggers and how we react when those triggers are pushed, so they can be able to create the best marketing strategies that would make us buy their product. In this video, we talk about the buying process businesses go through when they want to collaborate with new suppliers. Marketeers discover that no matter if it is about individual consumers or companies, so other businesses, they go through the same buying process, separated for consumers and businesses. If you would like to watch a video about the buying process of consumers, I've created a separated video about that you can watch in the info card right here or find it in the links down in the description below. Buyers who face new and complex buying decisions go through all 8 steps in the business buying process. The buyers who make rebuys often may skip some of these stages. Either way, the company business buying process also known as the business buying process, is usually much more complicated than this model suggests. Now that I've presented you the entire model with all the 8 steps a company goes through, I will go in depth and explain each individual step. As some of them are self-explanatory, I will skip them and only add information when it's relevant. The problem recognition is the first step of the business buying process, in which someone in the company recognizes a problem or need that can be met by acquiring a good or a service. General need description is the stage of business buying process in which a buyer describes the general characteristics and quantity of a needed item. Product specification is the stage of the business buying process in which the buying organization decides on and specifies the best technical products characteristics for a needed item. Supplier search is the stage of the business buying process in which the buyer tries to find the best vendors. One thing to mention: if you're a student or you're looking to enrich your vocabulary with all these marketing terms, you don't need to take notes of it. In the links down in the description below, I've created a separated file that acts like a dictionary for all these marketing terms, and you can download it, so have it, don't need to write down any notes of the definitions. Going back to the 5th step of the process. Proposal solicitation is the stage of the business buying process in which the buyer invites qualified suppliers to submit proposals. Supplier selection is the stage of the business buying process in which the buyer reviews proposal and selects one or more suppliers. Order routine specification is the stage of the business buying process in which the buyer writes the final order with the chosen suppliers, listing the technical specifications, quantity needed, expected time of delivery, return policies and warranties. Finally, performance review is the stage of the business buying process in which the buyer assesses the performance of the supplier and decides to continue, modify or drop the arrangement. These were the definitions of each individual step. Let's now take a break and look at each one individually in order to grasp the understanding of it. You have a company that produces furniture. To produce furniture, you need to assemble wooden planks. Therefore, you need a supplier that provides you all the needed sizes of wooden planks. So in the first step, you recognize that you have a problem. You have a need for wooden planks. And then secondly, you go and describe that need. What sizes are the planks that you need, the colors, the dimensions, everything about those planks that you need. Now you go in depth with product specifications. So you describe all the cuts, all the edges, all the assembly type of structure that you need in your wooden planks. And then you go further and supplier search. So you look for a supplier that can provide you the wooden planks with the specifications that you asked. Going on, you have already found some suppliers and you will have a proposal solicitation. So you will ask them to give you an offer. If they can produce the wooden planks that you need, they will give you an offer with the price, the terms of delivery and all that. And going on, you have the supplier selection. So after you saw all their proposals, you can finally select usually one or maybe 2 suppliers that you will go on with. And of course, the last step is to order routinely from that supplier. So you have order routine specification. You will say, hey, I need this amount of wooden planks, this quantity on these delivery times every X day of the month. So you establish the terms and conditions of your contract basically. And after that contract starts going and you start receiving, you have a long-term collaboration with them you're looking forward to, you have a performance review. So you review how good your supplier acted. Now that you have an overview of all the process and all the specifications, let's go in depth and see what information is needed for each individual step. In the general need description for standard item, this process presents few problems, while for complex items, the buyer may need to work with engineers, users, consultants and others to define the item. In product specification, we also talk about product value analysis, which is an approach to cost reduction in which components are studied carefully to determine if they can be redesigned, standardized or made less costly to produce. The team decides the best product characteristics and specifies them accordingly. Considering the popularity of the internet, in supplier search, one of the supplier's tasks became getting listed in major directories and build a good reputation online in the marketplace. In business proposals, business marketeers must be skilled in researching, writing and presenting proposals almost like salespeople, because proposals should be marketing documents, not just technical documents. Proposals should inspire confidence and stand out from competition. During supplier selection, the buying center often will draw a list of desired supplier attributes and their relative importance. Such attributes include product and service quality, reputation, on-time delivery, ethical corporate behavior, honest communication, and competitive prices. In order routine specification, many large buyers practice vendor-managed inventory. This is a system where they turn over ordering and inventory responsibility to suppliers. Buyers share sales and inventory information directly with their suppliers, so the inventory can be stocked automatically when needed. Finally, in performance review, the seller must manage the total customer relationship, not just the individual purchases. This was everything for this video regarding the business buying process. Remember that businesses act similar as individual consumers, and although they go through separated processes of buying when they buy something, those processes are the same for their category. So if you would like to learn about the factors that influence the consumer buying behavior, I've created a separated video that you can watch right here in the info card, or find it in the links down in the description below. One more thing before you go watch another video of mine: if you're an entrepreneur, a manager, or you own your very first business and you're watching these videos to learn about marketing and public relations, to build your business plan for the company, or to build your marketing or communication strategy, you want to check the links down in the description. I've created a professional academic manual that goes step by step through all the information you need to know in order to be able to create a personalized marketing strategy, a personalized communication strategy, that it is a whole business plan for your company. You will also find a notebook that once you complete after you've read the manual, it is your very first business plan personalized for any type of company you may own. So therefore you want to check the links down in the description. If this video helped you, you can thank me by buying me a coffee. There is a link in the description for that. I run on a lot of coffee to create these videos, to research the information, to film the videos, to edit and post it on YouTube so you guys can watch it for free. And you may also become a member for my channel. Now you can join and support my channel. There is a button below the video that you may want to check. And also there is the classical thank me button, that is a like, a subscribe, or a comment. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. You know how YouTube is nowadays. And this was everything for this video. I'll see you at the next one. Bye.